Rock Chat with Trace.
Welcome to this week's podcast of Rock Chat with Trace. This week I am interviewing Leo Playa, who's a session guitarist, music producer, actor, video editor, and has released a mashup of Stevie Wonder's Living for the City and Guns N' Roses' Paradise City. The song is called Living for the Paradise City, to raise money for Help Musicians. Help Musicians started in 1921 and they've been raising money to support musicians during the COVID lockdown. They've been giving advice, giving funding direct to individuals and organisations, but they support all year round. They have a dedicated talent programme, development opportunities delivered by partners, Music Minds Matters support line, health, welfare and support, mental health support and a hearing health scheme. People can donate, fundraise or give money in their wills. To find out more, go to www.helpmusicians.org.uk. So now we're moving on to this week's interview with Leo Playa, session guitarist and music producer. Hello Leo and welcome to Rock Chat with Trace.
How you doing? You alright?
Can you give me a little bit of information about yourself and how you got into the music industry?
My name's Leo Playa. I'm a session guitarist. Let me think. I got into the industry about 15. Well, I actually started my first professional job when I was about 15 on a TV show. And then, I don't know, you probably remember Grange Hill? Yeah, I was in the school band for that back in 1994 or something like that. But yeah, I started gigging like on a regular basis roughly about 2004, something like that, yeah.
Who are your influences?
Well, you can see Jimi Hendrix, Slash, loads of different people, like Nile Rodgers. As I've gotten older, I'm starting to like a lot more Nile Rodgers. And yeah, a few people like that, right? Robbie Krieger from The Doors. I love how he used to play flamenco and stuff. I mean, I like a lot of different styles of guitar playing. So yeah, even like people like Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, like love him.
You recently organised the Gig Economy Project and released a single, Living for the Paradise City. Can you explain how it came about and which organisation you are supporting?
Well, I mean, the video, there's a mashup originally on YouTube by a guy called Bill McClintock from America. And I'd seen it about a year or two ago. I had said to one of the bands I was in, I was like, can we do this? This sounds amazing. Obviously, we never got round to it. And then when we went to lockdown over here in the UK, me and a few friends, we started getting together, a few of my music pals, we started getting together and doing a few lockdown collaborations. So we'd send each other tracks and then we'd film it and record it at the same time and put them together. And that became a bit of a thing. Like quite a lot of us started doing that. So I decided to, my good friend George, who's a bass player, me and him did a really cool tune. We did a cover of Cochise by Audio Slave, him and Ben Alwyn, who played drums. And I said to George, let's do another one. And I mentioned, let's do Living for the Paradise City. And I just sent him the link and he was like, yeah. And he said, we should get a few people on this. And I was like, it's not a bad idea. And one day I was in the shower and that's when I got the idea. I literally stood there in the shower thinking, this could be like a charity single. We could get as many session musicians as possible on it and kind of go for like the Live Aid or We Are the World vibe, but no celebrities, just like gigging musicians, people who do it for a full time. And so we got down, it took us about 3 months. Like everyone started sending me tracks and videos and there was a few people helping out behind the scenes, sort of like coming on board to help out. And we did it for Help Musicians as well, because at the beginning of lockdown, they gave grants to out-of-work musicians like myself for about £500 each. So this was kind of our way of trying to pay them back, really.
So how has COVID-19 affected you?
Well, I haven't done a gig since the 29th of February. So it's been a very long time. Oh, no, it was one gig I did, me and George again. We were asked to play 2 songs outside some guy's girlfriend's window. That was that was a paid job. So that was the last time I did a gig, so to speak. But the last time I was on stage was like the 29th of February.
Did work dry up completely for you? Sort of one day you had a load of work and the next day it was all gone?
It was more like, it wasn't one day it was there and one day it was gone. It was like 1 hour it was there and then the second hour it was all gone. I remember it was like, it's actually quite funny, but on Friday the 13th of March, I remember walking to the gym and this is when I wasn't taking COVID seriously at all. I remember walking into the gym going, I'm fed up of hearing it, but I was calling it Carlsberg flu at the time. I was just bored. of just hearing about it. And then I remember going home from the gym. As I was walking home, I just started getting text messages from pretty much any band I work with saying tomorrow's gig's cancelled, next week's gig's cancelled. And then it got to that Sunday, and I looked at my diary and I was like, I've got 3 gigs next week and I'm betting I don't do any of them. Lo and behold, every day as the day's gone forward, someone texts me going, yeah, that gig's cancelled. Yeah, I haven't done a gig. Well, we haven't been able to really, and I have no idea when we'll do it again. Probably not thinking this year, if I'm being honest.
That was actually my next question. How long do you think it'll take for musicians to sort of get back from lockdown and back working properly again?
I think there's going to be certain different types of ways of doing it. I mean, I know some of my friends have been doing like the driving gigs. And I haven't actually spoken to them about how they feel or anything like that. Of course, some solo musicians can go into pubs and stand and play in the beer garden or something like that. We've done a few, I think a few people have been doing a few live broadcasts on social media, and some of them might have a PayPal account. And so if you'd like to donate, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, the actual stage thing, I mean, I know that all the Panto season's been cancelled this year already. And on top of that, the venue's all closing down. Roadhouse last week and so in Covent Garden. The Cavern Club's under threat of closing forever. I mean, the venues can't afford to stay open. I mean, there's the only place I can think of that may potentially stay open in the West End is O'Neill's in Soho.
How important is music in the current crisis?
Interesting question. I've heard someone's kind of compared it to like the First World War when people used to do free. I mean, I don't know if I'd kind of go there, but the 21st century equivalent. I mean, it's helped me. I mean, there's been nights where I've sat indoors on a Saturday and I will watch one of my pals like do a live broadcast, and it'll be something for me to watch that evening. I've done a few myself. I only did like 2 very beginning of lockdown. I couldn't get down with it. I mean, I know people were watching, but it was like I'm standing here playing guitar to my phone. It's nice people are still doing that, but I think we all do know that there's nothing better than actually playing at a gig venue with a band. But even at the moment, even if they did start social distant gigs, which I can't see happening, even the band would have to be socially distant. And that's quite a hard one. We'd have to stand in one space on the stage and walk around the stage, sometimes go off the stage, and all of that can't be done really. So I don't know. I can't even comprehend we'll be back on stage again, to be honest. It's a weird one.
Going back to Living for the City, how did you choose the 2 songs?
Well, like I said, it was already a mashup on YouTube with this guy, Bill McClintock, who is actually on the track as well. Yeah, because about 3 weeks into the project, I actually found him on Facebook and I sent him a friend request. And he accepted within 10 seconds. And I was like, that's a good sign. I sent him a message and I went, hi, I'm Leo. I'm a guitarist from London. Love your mashup of Living for the Paradise City. We're trying to do a charity song, a cover of it for charity as a lockdown collaboration. And we talked back and forth for a couple of weeks. And then I said, look, man, you've got to be on the track. There's no 2 ways about it. So he put some guitar tracks down. He's on the video. Me and him, I'd like to say he's become quite a good friend, actually. We talked quite a bit in the last couple of months and stuff. So, yeah.
How can people listen to the single?
Well, it's not actually a single. I'll tell you the reason why. Because we have to clear royalties and samples and stuff like that. What it is, it's just a social media video with an option to donate if you like what you see, but we're not stressing you have to donate. It's like if you feel generous, but you can see it on Facebook page Leo Playa. It's also on my Instagram, Leo Playa, because that's with an A, not ER at the end. And what else is it? It's on my YouTube channel, Player TV. We had a little bit of a problem with the one on YouTube. So you obviously saw it in Classic Rock Magazine or Loudernet, didn't you?
Yeah.
So the video that we originally posted, for some reason, after it being online for 3 weeks, one day I woke up and it was gone. And YouTube's stressed that I deleted it, and I know I didn't. So I don't know what happened there. I mean, it wasn't taken down for copyright strike or anything like that. I mean, it had a claim on it, and it said I couldn't monetize it, which I didn't do. So we have got it back on YouTube, but obviously by the time it got disappeared, it had quite a few thousand views and get that back. But you can actually see it on Bill's video, YouTube channel as well, which is McClintock's Mashups. And I am probably in the next week or so, I'm going to be making it available for free download on my SoundCloud account, which is also Leo Playa. So basically anything that has any of my social media can find it.
Can you tell me about your experiences as a session musician?
Yeah. I got into recording when I was about 16 years old. I bought my parents bought me a 4-track, a Fostex cassette 4-track, which I took to university with me. I learnt the basis of recording. I started when I was at university. I was sort of recording tracks for people. I was doing a music course, so I'd go around to people's houses with their own setup, and I usually do some guitar there, or a piece of mine as well. In terms of getting into actual session playing, that kind of came. I started like also obviously going to auditions and gigging and doing shows, and then the session work just sort of started. It just fell into it. I can't even remember my first session. It's always been there, really. Yeah, it's interesting. I do like doing sessions stuff, because you literally sometimes you go into the studio and you're given free rein, or sometimes you're just told play this and exactly like this, or sometimes they'll play you the track and they'll sort of go, what could you advise? So there's three different sort of roles you have there. I mean, usually you go in expecting to be just record what they tell you. It's as simple as that, really.
For anyone starting out, what does it take to be a good session musician?
I get your social presence quite active. So, I mean, what I do is I post on my Instagram, I post videos of me playing very different styles of guitar. I posted one today, Cowboys from Hell by Pantera. So I'd say, yeah, do stuff like that. Just various styles of you playing different. Like when I first started, obviously this was a while ago, but what I had is I put a demo CD together, and it was about 4 tracks, me playing blues, me playing Spanish, rock, and probably funk or something like that. And I used to send that to all, like if I was going off for auditions. Obviously nowadays you don't need to send CDs, you can just put it all online. And so I'd say do that. Obviously post videos of you actually playing live. If people offer you criticism, take it, be humble, and just go for absolutely every audition you can go for. And what else would I say? Try and go to a lot of open mics as well, which was something I didn't really do when I was younger. And I kind of regret it a little bit, because I'm now at that point where I'm not going to do it.
You play Slash in a tribute band. Can you tell me about that experience?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I was in the tribute industry for a while. I started off in a Robbie Williams tribute. I was with them for quite a long time, about 7 years or something. And on the circuits, I met Gav, who plays Axl in Guns to Roses. And I remember it was back in 2006, he'd asked me a few times and I was like, I wasn't free. Finally did a gig for him in 2007. And yeah, I was absolutely nervous. Obviously I love Guns N' Roses, but I'd never played the songs that as a full gig with just Guns N' Roses. I mean, I loved it. I came off stage, I was full of adrenaline. It was about a year later, he asked me to come and do a gig again, but this was the time, that first gig I did, I wasn't dressed up, I was just me. The second time, I had some really bad outfit. I had a really, really bad top hat. I remember that gig being even more scary, because all of a sudden I was there going, right, now I have to sound like I can play like Slash. And so I remember that being quite nervous. But I remember I actually kind of joined them in 2009, like full time, and that was I remember being at my mate's wedding back in June of 2009, and I got a text from Gav, and he's like, Leo, are you free? We'd like you to join the band possibly full time, and what are you doing on Wednesday? And I was like, I could possibly join the band, and I'm not doing anything on Wednesday. He goes, all right, do you want to come to Slovenia and do a gig with us? And I was like, okay. I had 3 days to go through all the set, and this time I actually had a proper Slash outfit, and I quite enjoyed that. But thing is, over the years, I didn't like being dressed up as Slash. I do it for the gig, and then as soon as the gig was over, I'd get right out of the outfit. Or sometimes I'd have to stand about and have a few photos taken with me. But I always found it quite funny, because obviously in real life, I look nothing like Slash. I used to be able to, I'd go get off stage, have a few photos, and I'd go to my dressing room, take all of the Slash outfit and put my normal clothes on, and go back on stage, and I'd be packing down my gear, and I'd look like my own roadie or something. I used to feel like Clark Kent in that respect, to be like, right, 10 minutes ago you wouldn't leave me alone, now you don't know who I am. I mean, I did some great gigs with them. I think one of my biggest gigs ever, in front of 50,000 people in Liverpool. I was with them, and who else? Yeah, I went over all over the country, different parts of the world with them, like mainly Europe, Italy, Slovenia quite a few times. There was one time we drove to Slovenia, it took 20 hours, and that was because of that volcano incident, the volcano ash back in 2010. We drove to Slovenia, did a gig and drove back. It was 20 hours there, 20 hours home. It was, yeah, so I've done some really good gigs with them. They're quite a well-known tribute. I mean, I haven't really been in the band since like 2000 and maybe 2012. It was just because I couldn't really commit at that point. I started to get other work through, and I was taking that. But I'm still friends with all the guys. Last time I played with them was like probably about. I go and stand in every now and then. I think the last time was about 3 years ago. Last time I saw the boys was last year. They were playing at the at a club in West London. I can't remember the name of it, and I was doing a gig there as well, so I got to hang out with them then. And me and Gav, we're still very good friends. Me and him chatted quite a few times over lockdown. He was actually going to be in Living for the Paradise City, but he didn't have the recording software, unfortunately. And by the time he tried to sort it out, all the vocal parts were taken. So it was just one of those, really.
What's your best concert experience as a performer?
I can't answer that. I mean, you'd think like some of the very big gig, like in front of 1,000, where you can't see where the crowd ends. So you'd expect me to say that, but to be quite honest with you, when you're in that moment, you don't think about it. You just kind of do the gig, and then like I usually take a photo on my phone, and then I think about a day later, I'll put that photo onto my computer, and that's when it kicks in. You're like, wow, that was a big crowd. but then some gigs I really enjoy playing down the West End, the clubs there. They can get really sweaty and personal, and I can't really answer that question if I'm being honest, because I can't point. Maybe Matthew Street, which is completely contradicts what I'm saying, because that was the biggest gig I've ever done. It was quite crazy.
You are in a couple of other bands. Can you tell me more about them?
I'm kind of what you call a full-time dep guitarist. So I kind of sort of play for bands when their guitarist can't do the gig, or she's double booked himself or herself. There's a band called Fully Functional who I'm a dep for, and they're a party band. We all sparkly stuff. I played in the Maldives with them over New Year's, which was great. There's another band called Masioki who I dep for, and they're kind of like a karaoke band. We play the songs. There's a screen, the audience sing it back to us. We do set up, done some really good gigs with them. One of my favourite bands and one of the longest bands I've been in is the Vipers, the West End band I played with some of my very good friends who have grown. Well, I've known them since we've been in the band. I've been in the band, but some of them I've actually grown up with as well. So who else do I play for? Sound With Us, they're like a function band, and they have different outfits, and every band's always got a different lineup. So you always get some new musicians there. But then there's just other people who will just phone me up and go, Leo, are you free? There's another band called Rock Party I'm in. Actually, that is a full-time band, but we just haven't had much going on. All full-on six-piece rock band, and it's very hard finding gigs for bands. We always get into a situation where we have to kind of cut someone out of the equation when we get booked gigs, and it always makes me feel horrible because send the promo and there's 6 people in the video and then 4 people turn up to the gig or something because of the budget and all that. Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention?
Well, no, I mean, if you haven't seen Living for the Paradise City, please check it out on all my social media platforms. And if you'd like to share it, that'd be great as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How do people get in contact with you?
In contact with me, you can either message me on the Leo Playa page on Facebook. Yeah, just either that or Twitter or something like that. I do have an email address if you go to my website, which is www.leoplaya.com.
I'd like to thank Leo Playa for being my guest on Rock Chat with Trace.